Amir is calling from the UK, pronouns are he, him, to say, at its core, both atheism and theism are a matter of preference rather than evidence. What do you mean by that, Amir?
Sure. I just want to say I was fortunate enough while waiting in the queue to hear the conclusion of your previous call with Adrian, and it was a very poetic ending. So, in response, anyway, to what you just asked, Matt, so I'm not here to argue for the existence of God. My point is much simpler.
When we examine
naturalism,
hello,
me?
Oh, Amir.
Yeah, I didn't think you were here. I didn't think you were here to argue for the existence of God. It says here, at its core, both atheism and theism are a matter of preference. My atheism, which is non-theism, the only preference involved is a preference for evidence to warrant belief.
Correct. When I was typing out my topical question, I wasn't able to explain the depth of what it is I wanted to communicate. So I just want to kind of very quickly just summarize what it is that I'm trying to put forward.
Okay.
When we examine naturalism and theism at the deepest level, both rest on brute facts. With naturalism,
that's a false dichotomy. Why are we starting with a false dichotomy, naturalism or theism?
What would be the alternatives?
I'm sorry, but a proper dichotomy is theism, non-theism. That whether or not there's a deity, whether or not there's a God, is completely independent from whether or not naturalism is correct. But also, I am a methodological naturalist, not a philosophical naturalist, and my atheism is not in any way contingent on philosophical naturalism. So you're calling in to talk about a false dichotomy that is already inaccurate by virtue of being a false dichotomy, but also doesn't represent my view.
Okay, I'm saying that whichever worldview you take, you still land in brute facts, and that's asymmetry that I'm trying to highlight.
Amir, you don't get to say whatever worldview you take as a way of avoiding the fact that you just presented a false dichotomy in something that isn't my position.
Could you clarify your position, please, one more time?
I think there is a natural world. I think I experience the natural world. I don't have a solution to the problem of hard solipsism, so I can't necessarily say whether this is the ultimate real world or anything else. I have no idea whether or not there's something beyond the natural world. In order for me to have a warranted position that there is something beyond the natural world, I would need argument supported by evidence. In the absence of that, I reject the claims of supernaturalism, not that they are not true, but that they are not currently warranted. That's it.
Okay. So you admit that you don't know if there's more beyond the natural world. And I think that's my point, is in both naturalism and theism end in brute assumptions.
No, Amir. Wow, this is so frustrating. Once again, you went back to naturalism and theism as if that's a true dichotomy. It's not. I'm also not a philosophical naturalist, just a methodological naturalist. I experience something. I'm okay with the notion that that's the natural world. I don't understand what point you're trying to make, because even under your false dichotomy, my answer is, so what? Why are we spending any time discussing this?
Okay. Perhaps this just needs hashing out a little bit more so I can fully understand where you're coming from, Matt. I'm saying whatever worldview you take, naturalism, theism, multiverse simulation, whatever it is, you eventually still hit brute facts. And that's the symmetry that I'm trying to point to.
So fucking what? What is your point?
Can we do this respectfully, Matt?
No, we can't. No, we can't do it respectfully if you think me asking so fucking what is disrespectful. In what way did I disrespect you? When you repeated the false dichotomy multiple times, when I explained to you what my position was, and you ignored what I said about my position and went on to say exactly what you wanted to say, and then when I asked what was the fucking point of it, you want to accuse me of being disrespectful. Go fuck yourself. How's that?
Are you finished?
You are.
Have a conversation.
Probably not, Amir, because you think I was being disrespectful by asking you what your point was. I'm sorry, but I'm doing a program here. You came in with a false dichotomy. I called that out. You said you didn't know what my position was. I presented it. You then ignored everything I said to go on to say whatever it is that you wanted, and I don't understand what the point is. How is that disrespectful of me to ask you to get to the fucking point?
I think you can ask someone in a respectful manner without having to unnecessarily curse them out.
I'm sorry, Amir, I will fucking curse as much as I fucking want because words aren't magic. And it's not disrespectful for me to say fuck. Just because you don't like it, that's your baggage. It's not my job in my life to deal with or coddle you and give you a warm hug while I ask you to please get to the fucking point. So for the last time, Amir, get to the fucking point right now or say goodbye.
Okay, I will. I'll just say that on the edit.
Goodbye.
Amir has called other shows and people have told, including Chewed Gum, and we pretty much have all told him to call you at some point. And this went actually exactly how I thought it would.
Yeah. Oh, whether you pick theism or naturalism or multiverse or whatever worldview, you just get to brute facts. Excuse me, but as somebody who's been talking about this for ages, there's a difference between methodological naturalism and philosophical naturalism. Philosophical naturalism is an untenable position that asserts that the natural is all that exists. I don't know how you would ever demonstrate that. And so I do not and cannot hold to the unfounded assertion, the untestable, unfalsifiable assertion that there's nothing supernatural. I also cannot give my assent to the claim that there is something supernatural. I have no idea whether or not there is or not. The time to believe that is after there's evidence. That's not a position of me getting down to preference, which is what you originally wrote. It's not an issue of me getting down to just brute facts. There is what I experience and what is demonstrably rational and supported by evidence. And in the absence of evidential warrant, it's not even a choice. I don't accept doxastic volunteerism. I do not think that you choose your beliefs in any simple sense. And so I operate under methodological naturalism, which is that we accept, even though we cannot prove, that you and I share an existence that we're going to call the natural world, and that we can explore that one together. That there is a reality in which things manifest, in which we can test. I am completely uninterested in the both sides, whataboutism, agnostic, atheism and theism are both unjustified. No, that is flatly false. There is a default position. If the proposition is something supernatural exists, the default position must be to reject that claim, to not agree with that claim until that claim meets its burden of proof. If somebody says there is a natural world, we are stuck because of the problem of hard solipsism of demonstrating that the world we experience is in fact the actual one. But at a minimum, we can agree within the context of this that what I experience is the natural world. I think Alyssa and I experience the same world. And I think that for a number of reasons, not just because when Alyssa came down and we all went out to breakfast, I get it. Everything I know about her, including while we were supposedly standing there in person or sitting there in person, comes through my senses. I have to rely on my senses as a practical necessity because all of the available evidence coming through my senses suggests that if I stop relying on them, I will die. If I try to cross a street and ignore the fact that I sense a bus coming with my eyes and my ears, I will almost certainly, or at least the impression I have is that that bus will hit me and I will likely die. Or I will be injured. That much I know is true. I don't know for sure that I'm ever going to die, but I know I can be hurt. And when you begin building a worldview out of that by saying, here's what I experience, I convinced other people experience it too. If solipsism were true, that would mean that I created every wonderful piece of music that I've ever heard, every mathematical solution that I still don't understand, and that I've taught myself everything. And not only that, but if there's a problem that I don't know the answer to, and then I go out and explore and I learn, and I find that somebody else understood that problem 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago. Yes, I know I'm still getting it from my senses. Did I invent all of that fiction in order to teach myself something that I did not understand? It leads to absurdity. So as a matter of practical necessity, I make an axiomatic assumption that I experience reality. That does not mean that the claim that there is a God and the claim that there isn't a God are on equal footing. And it certainly doesn't mean that the claim belief in God is warranted and the claim belief in God is not warranted are on equal footing. I have no idea what your point was, Amir, but if you're just going to keep presenting the same false dichotomy, tell me you don't know what my worldview is, and then after I explain it to you, fucking ignore it. That's disrespectful. You can't play at my level. We just demonstrated that. You can try and call again, but I'm not going to sit here and have someone accuse me of being disrespectful to them while they're being disrespectful to me. I'm sorry that I had to do the homework for both of us, but at least somebody did the homework.
Hey, it's Jimmy Snow here. I'm the executive producer on the line with a fun fact. Did you know 100% of the hosts of this channel enjoy eating? It's true. And if you would like to help contribute to their ongoing addiction, you can do so by going over to Patreon or becoming a channel member. There are show-specific, host-specific tiers. Those are awesome. But also, you can leave a super thanks with a special little highlighted comment. You can like, comment, and subscribe. All of those will help fill our whittle bellies. By the way, check out some of this content over here. Algorithm, what next?